So what's up, everybody? So we're back, another live session of poker, and I just sat down. I got four of heart, 8 of clubs, and I'm pretty much going to fold this. I'm going to try to make the right calls here. Since I just sat down, I don't know what type of table this is, and I think one of the first things that you should do whenever you play poker is that you should kind of feel what kind of table you're dealing with. Now, in my opinion, I think the psychology of the players at the table makes the psychology of the table, right? So you have to figure out what mindset the entire table is in. So maybe to kind of change it up and phrase it another way, I think when you have multiple people in one room or in one small gathering and they're communicating with each other, whether you know it or not, they all make up a hive mind, so to speak, right? So you really want to see what the hive mind of the table is like. It sounds kind of corny, but just to make it simple, you want to see what the table is doing, and you want to base your strategy off of what the table is doing. Hold on a second. Sorry. So yeah, you wanna base your strategy based off of what the table is doing. I don't know why I didn't get cards here. That was really strange because it totally didn't give me any cards. So let's see how the table is playing. So far, the table seems to be, so he's representing the queen. That's the last thing that dropped. So he either has a queen or he has a straight draw. Maybe he has king 10 or even a gut shot, and he's calling. They all call. So that's kind of weird, right? So maybe someone hit a straight. We're going to figure out if one of these guys hit a straight, because if he hit a straight, he's going to bet it. He bets it, he bets it hard. He represents the straight. So basically, when he bet the first time, he was trying to take it down with his straight draw. Now that he has a straight, he's really just trying to get paid. And he wow, set over set, no straights, set over set. Wow, really tough thing to play against. I mean, you can never see if someone has a set. Why am I not getting cards? What the heck is going on here? I am not getting cards. I don't know why I'm not getting cards here, but I'll wait to my big blind. If I don't get cards, then I'm gonna bounce. So I still haven't really assessed the mood of the table, so to speak, and we have two people that left, and we have a new player coming in, and every time somebody leaves and goes, it has the potential to change the psychology of the table, right? So for example, the table could be really slow, but you have one new player that comes in and he just starts betting hard and betting recklessly. Eventually the entire table gets tired of him, and then they just start calling his bet or even repopping his bets, right? So that will end up changing the psychology of the table, and then the table itself will start playing really aggressive. So one player leaving, especially two player leaving and coming and going, whatever, to a particular table can change the psychology of the table. So far, the table seems to be pretty loose. And when I mean loose, when I say loose, basically you're seeing bets every hand. Every hand pre-flop, you see people throw money in, and you see a lot of people call. So right now it just seems really loose. So on a loose table, me personally, I really want to play tight. I want to wait for solid hands, and when I get a solid hand, I want to charge as much as possible before people can see the flop, because you really don't want people come in with trash hands. So this is a pretty interesting flop. All it takes is for one person to have a jack, and that person is good. Number 3 here is betting the jacks, right? And then you have number 6 calling. I'm willing to bet someone has a jack, but I don't think it's number 3. Could be number 6. But, you know, let's see how this plays out. See if 3 bets again. He goes all in, so he has a jack. He probably has ace jack. And you can only call at this point if you have ace jack or at least a jack. If you don't have a jack in your hand, there's no way you can call. If you just have a pair of aces, you gotta fold. So it looks like somehow it's locked me into waiting for the big blind, even though I didn't select that. Maybe I did, I just don't remember, but let's just see what happens. So I have to wait for at least 2 more hands. So I thought the table was kind of loose, but some people are folding, some people are calling. A tight table to me is pre-flop everyone folds, except for maybe 1 or 2 people that's not, maybe 1 person that's not in the big blind or blind, right? The person with the button, you can always expect them to call no matter what they have, if it's just for the cost of the blinds, because it costs them very little to actually come in the hand. You can actually expect them to raise a little bit if they have the button. So if you're at a table where only the big blind is calling, then I would say that's a pretty slow table if only the big blind calls pre-flop. Let's see what happens here. Let's see how many people call and how many people fold. We expect number 7 to call. Number 7 can even raise 75 cents because he wants to see if number 8 and number 9 has a hand. If you don't have a hand, you're a tight player, you're going to fold. Got a call. If we get another call, oh, we got a razor, right? 125 is basically saying I have a strong hand. I either have a pair or I have a really big drawing hand like king, queen, ace, king, so on and so forth. Let's see if anyone calls. Now 125 in my opinion is not a huge raise, so if you get 1 caller, that tells me the table is pretty loose. I guess 1 caller wouldn't say that it's loose, but basically it tells me that people are looking to play. If you get a call, so you got 2 calls, I believe this is a loose table. Let's see what happens after this. Now, being in this position here, number 9 and 3 is not the ideal position because basically if you check, number 4 can hammer it again with another bet. It doesn't matter that he didn't hit. If he has a small pair, he can still bet because he has something. So number 3 bets. So, okay, so this is actually a tricky board because you have a flush draw and you have a straight draw. So now the straight is completed. So 7, 8, 9, 10. So if either has 8, 10 or 5, 8, they could potentially bet. So it looks like no one probably hit because no one's betting. If he doesn't bet, I think he just has a mediocre pair, or he's just simply, he probably has a big, he bets. He goes all in. I think that's a bluff. Let's see if he calls it. I wouldn't call it though. I would just fold because it's basically your entire stack, and unless you have the nuts, you can't really call it. In my opinion, it was a good fold. Number 4 could have been bluffing. Maybe he had the straight. I don't know. All right, I suspect I should get cards now. What the hell is going on? There we go. All right, 4, 7, Not really a good hand. My only hope is that it doesn't get raised. If somebody raises me, then I'm just going to have to fold and call it a day. 1 second. So yeah, if someone raises, I'm going to just have to bow out and just let them have it. And then again, if there it is, there's a raise. I was going to say if no one raises at all, I would probably raise just to test the table, but I'm going to go ahead and just say this is a loose table because, let me fold this, because look at this. You got a raise for 125 and then you have 2 callers. I'm going to say the table is loose. Let's see what happens after the flop. But what this tells me, wow, you got 3 callers, possibly 4. You have 4 callers. Oh my God, I just folded it straight. Oh, damn, I just folded it straight. But there was like no way I could call that. And you know what? I'm just going to say that was the best move. Even though I folded and I missed the opportunity to get it straight, I'm going to say that's the best move because long term, that's what you're supposed to do. Pot is raised. You have mediocre to poor hand, 4-7 offsuit. Long term, you should just fold that. So number 5 raises again. He's basically saying that he either has an overpair or oh my God. So he said he has an overpair or he has a straight. Number 9 goes all in. Number 9 is probably on some desperate stuff, or he himself has a straight. But I think number 9 just has probably a set or 2 pair. Let's see what his Jack's overpair. And he has 2 pair. Wow. Jacks takes it home. Oh, wow. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see what I get. Jack 5, you definitely have to fold that. Unless no one raises. If no one raises, I may test the table. If I don't get a raise, I'll just test it and see what happens. Oh, okay. Let's see if I can. Now this is dangerous because I'm going to reduce it. Because if I raise too much, he's short stacked. He may just go all in. So I'm just going to raise 75 cents, see if I can get them to fold. It's like a damn if you do, damn if you don't. 75 is not a huge raise. It's only going to cost him 50 more cents. And he freaking calls. I'm just going to check. I'm not going to get myself in trouble. Because if he has 2 diamonds in his hand, he's going to go all in. If he has 4-5 in his hand, he's going to go all in. Even if he has a gut shot like 2-5 or 2-4, he's going to go all in. So I'm just going to fold and let him have it. Oh, so now I have a gut shot. Maybe I can get him off of this. So I'm going to pop it. And the reason I'm going to pop it is because if I get a 4, I get a straight. He hasn't bet on any of the streets, so maybe he doesn't have anything. So I'm just going to bet it. If he calls, I'm pretty much done for. I already know I'm done for if he calls. Unless I get a 4. And if, oh my God, it's over. It's over. All right, I'm just going to check fold. Yeah. Yeah, just now I actually won that. That means he had total trash in his hand. So the thing I don't like about what just happened is that the table has gotten a chance to see that I'm playing with garbage hands. So now my credibility, my credibility has been nicked. So now, if a person's really paying attention, they're not going to fold, or they're going to consider not folding when I raise with a good hand. And that could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, but a lot of times it ends up being a bad thing because they'll call with garbage. So this is a situation where it requires a raise. king clubs, 10 of diamonds. With the button, I have equity and position. I'm just going to raise really hard and see if I can take down the 80 cents or the, what is that? Yeah, the 85 cents is on the table. I really just want to take this down. I really don't want to have to play this hand. Hopefully everybody folds and I can just pocket the change. Let's see what happens. Really don't want number 3 calling because he has 725, and just some people, he may have just started with that, but okay, perfect. Yeah, usually when you have those people with those low amounts, desperation set in, you know, and they just become desperados. And when you're dealing with a desperado, they're not really gonna fold easily, right? They'll just take you all the way down to the river and just hope they win with like jack high or something like that, kind of like what I just did in a hand ago. So I have ace 8, pretty much trash. This is really a decent position. I would probably raise it, but somebody has already raised it, so I'm just going to fold here. So my assessment of this table is that it's pretty loose pre-flop and it's pretty tough after the flop. So I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just try to play in position, and I'm going to try to raise when I have a nice suited connector or maybe a gap suited connector. But I'm really going to try to avoid playing out of position. Seven, 9, so gap connected. I could actually try to raise with these hands. If number 8 and number 9 folds, I'll raise. But if number 9 calls, I'll just call. Let's see what. So I'm going to raise again. And this is pretty, you know, I'm just going to raise 75 cents because I want to be able to walk away if this thing looks like it's not going to pan out. We got an instant call for number 2. Number 2, I actually don't even want to play with because, oh, damn. See, that's really what you want to avoid. And like I said, when you're dealing with short stack players, basically it's just bingo. So I made a mistake. 50 cents gone. I'm just going to fold this because I don't want to coin flip and lose $4, so he takes it home. So you know what? I guess at this point I'm kind of trapped. If I get in that position again, I'm just going to simply call because you have these short stack players behind me, and basically they ride or die right now. You know, so if they get any type of hand with any type of equity, they're going to go all in. So that means if they have like 6, 7, they going all in. 5, 7, they going all in. Any 2 big cards, they going all in. So basically, I just have to wait out till they either bust out or get enough money, and hopefully they start playing a little bit more cautious. But right now, I'm kind of stuck, so I just have to be careful. See, number 2 has already popped it for $1. I can guarantee you, regardless of what the flop looks like, if he hits or misses, he's going all in. He just strikes me as that type of guy because he's done it already. Yeah, so this number 2 is a guy that basically called me when I had Jack 5, and he basically lost with Jack high. So I'm just going to go ahead and label him as a loose player. Let me just fold this Jack 2. There's nothing I can do with that. So we are going to say he is loose. I would say loose passive, but it's hard to really get a read on him. And he's playing a lot of hands. It's kind of tricky because he's so short stacked, and like I said, people get desperate when they get short stacked. Very few people can just say, okay, I'm short stacked, I'm going to play as best as I can until I either bust out or get a really good hand. And to me, it just looks like he's playing any and every hand he gets. Number 3, on the other hand, number 3 is folding a lot, even though he only has 660. I'm not sure what he started off with because I wasn't paying attention, but he's folding a lot. So that tells me he's waiting for that all-in hand, right? And once he gets that all-in hand, that could be ace, king, king, queen, or anything like that. He's going all in. But number two could potentially have a 5-7 in his hand, or even a 3-4 or something like that. And if he does, he's going all in. So number 6 just bought in with $7.50. I have a pair of jacks. I'm finna be nasty with this because I don't want anybody calling with some garbage. So, and this is kind of tricky because I'm just gonna bet first. And this is kind of tricky because what happens is that you scare everybody off and you don't get any chance to make any money. But the problem with a hand like this is that it's really not the best. Somebody can come in and he calls anyway. He raises. So, oh man. So that means he has a hand like I have no choice but to call. I have a good hand. I have a decent hand. And I'm already committed. So I'm just going to go all in. So he could have king, queen, ace, king, queen, jack. And if he hits one of those overcards, I'm basically done. A7. See, look at that. And I got quads. So, and that's why I popped it that much, because when you get a good hand like that, and then you play around, you say, you know, I'm just going to see if I can make some money. Let me just raise it 50 cents or raise it to 75 cents. And then somebody catches you with like A7 with some total garbage. So you got to mix it up. So now, honestly, I really want to play this hand, but since I'm recording this session, I'm going to try to be responsible. This is a really bad hand to play, and it's a really bad position to play it in, because basically if you miss, you'll have to check, or you'll have to bluff it, you'll have to do something reckless, and other players will be watching you. And when they see, even if you win, when you turn over king 5, they're gonna say, oh, he's playing total garbage. And when they see that, they're gonna make note of that. They're gonna basically file that in their memory, and then the next time they're up against you, that's what they're gonna be thinking about. Now, it's okay to play hands like that if you're trying to throw people off, but you really want to make sure you don't take a hand like that too far, right? So anyway, let's see what happens. So we already have a raise. And I'm glad I folded, because if I would have called, I would have had been raised, and then I would have had to either call or re-raise, and that's really not a hand that you want to re-raise with. So you call and then you don't hit, you really screw. Let's see what happens. So I would have missed. I would have missed, but I would have had a chance at a backdoor straight. I would have needed a jack 9 or jack ace, and I would have been good. Let's see what happens from here. He should basically bet because he checked. But let's see what happens. If he calls, he's basically going to ride this all the way to the end, I believe. And he folded. Yeah, it was a good fold for me. All right, let's see what I get. Let's see what I get. Let's see what I get. Ace 5. Now, this is not a horrible situation. Basically, I just want to check this down. Hopefully, the flop comes and I can get some equity in the flop. Maybe a straight draw, possibly an ace. Then I can actually play poker. Now I'm actually thinking about raising. Number 3 just came in. We don't know what type of player he is. Let's find out. Now I think the psychology of the table is starting to change because everyone folded except the new player. Let's see what he does. It's probably a mistake to raise because he just sat down, and a lot of times people will always play their first hand because they're committed. Let's see what he does. I should have really just raised like up to 75 cents. This is a bit of a waste right here. Just run out of time. Boom, 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 boom. All right, easy money. He was AFK. Queen 9. Queen 9. You can make a straight Queen 9. It's unsuited. So hoping on a flush isn't a reasonable expectation. So I'm going to call the extra 15 cents if no one raises. And then I'm just going to fold. And again, I think the psychology of the table has changed. It seems like it was pretty loose when I first sat down. Uh-oh, we got a raise. So now this is a good time to fold. I really don't want to draw with Queen 9 unsuited. I could, but the other problem is I don't have position. If I call, basically it's a donation because if I miss, he's going to hammer it on the flop. Let's see what number 9 does. Number 9 could potentially call. I wouldn't raise because if you raise, you give him a chance to re-raise. So he didn't call. Damn! Oh my God! I wish I would have called that. So I would have had trip queens. But again, I'm never really upset when I fold pre-flop because I think I made the right move. There's still a lot of things that could go wrong here. He could have ace queen, king queen. He could have king 10 and go for a straight draw. He could have 2 clubs. There's a lot of ways that this could go wrong if I had called. So let's see what happens. Number 2 is really in a jam. If he doesn't have anything, he can't bluff because his stack is low. So he has to have it. He has to have a queen, or he has to have maybe pocket jacks. He has to have something solid. Hopefully he wasn't bluffing. If that was a bluff, it was a bad one. So I have a button now. Jack of hearts, 10 of clubs. I think I can get tricky with this hand. 7-5. Man, this dude is killing it. This dude is killing it. So there's a total of 135 on the table. Number 5 has been kind of funny lately. He raised the last hand and then he folded on the flop. Let's see where he's at. I'm going to raise. Now, if he re-raises me, I'm just gonna fold, because basically I only re-raised him to see where he's at. And now that number 2 has called, it really puts me in a bind. I almost have to hit in order to win. I was hoping just to isolate, just so that it could be me and number 5, but number 2 has called, and now because there's money on the table, he's gonna call. I hit the 10. I think I could be good if, God damn, I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about number 5. Okay. So it all boils down to who has a better kicker. Oh, I got him. Yes. 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 So number 2 buys back in with 750. Basically, number 2 is a bingo. I guess he's not a bingo player. He had a solid hand. It just wasn't the best hand. Let's see. 5. I'm going to raise this only because I'm on a winning streak, and I want to try to use that winning streak as intimidation. If I get a fold here, I'll slow down. If everybody folds, I'll slow down, because I want to maintain my image and make everybody think that I'm an awesome player when I'm really just dunking. 2 more people fold. And number 4 folds. And you know what? Number 4 hasn't played any hands. So I am going to label number 4 as a tight player. I'm gonna raise here. I'm gonna label number 4 as a tight player, meaning that if I'm in a hand with him, I'm just gonna pretty much assume that he has it, because he's not playing any hands. It makes me believe that he's a solid player. So I made a mistake with number 5. He obviously has king, queen, or he has the flush now. The only thing I can do is just check and basically fold. All he needs is 1 heart to win. There's nothing I can do. I'm just going to fold. He obviously had a heart, or he had ace-10 in his hand. Either way, it's a losing proposition for me. So I just basically pissed away $4 in that hand, trying to take advantage of my winning streak. I ended up throwing away $4 about. So I have ace queen in position. I am going to raise it something ridiculous, and basically I'm just going to try to take it down. If I don't take this down, I might consider just ending the session, because I'm up and I don't want to push my luck here, and it's kind of getting late. But when you start making bets like this and people start calling you and they don't have anything, then either your credibility is shot, or you're just playing with too many donkeys. And if you're playing with a lot of donkeys, that's fine, because then you can start trapping them. But you know, it really gets tough when people start calling large bets with anything, because you can have a solid hand like aces or kings, and then somebody can call you with jack deuce and still catch you. Oh, this bastard called. I'm just gonna check. I'm gonna check again. I'm gonna check all the way to the river and see if I can win with ace high. Should I bet here? You know what? There's no need to bet, in my opinion, because this is a really good position to bet. That's bad. If I lose this, I'm gonna be pissed off. There's no way he should call that. If you don't have anything, there's no way you should call. So number 5 just strikes me as a type of person that's just going to call no matter what. So I'm going to label him a loose player. Just say loose. I'm going to fold 3-8. No chance at a straight. It's suited, but no chance at a straight. And I don't want to be in a hand at this table with 3-8 because number 5 will probably try to catch me. And then number 4, if he has a good hand, I guarantee he's going to hammer it. So number 4 is definitely tight. He's possibly a nit. A nit is someone who only plays the nuts. So if they get something like Queen Jack, they probably won't even play that. They're only going to play like pocket queens, pocket aces, so on and so forth. So I hit the 8, but honestly, I wouldn't want to have just an 8 when I'm up against a player like number 5, because he'll call that. If I bet now and I with the 8, he'll probably call it. Let's see if he calls the 80 cents. He didn't call. I'm surprised. King 10. Let's see here. I think I am just going to call. And the reason I'm just going to call is because I don't really have a good position. If I get a raise, I may even just fold. If I get a raise up to 50 cents, maybe 75 cents, I may call, but anything above 75 cents, I'm going to fold. Sometimes when people take a long time like this, they are playing multiple games and they're not really paying. Oh, I hit the king. All right, so let me see. So this is kind of tricky because there's a flush on the board and there's a straight draw on the board, and everybody creeped in. So somebody could have creeped in with 4-6. Somebody could have creeped in with 5-7 or just 2 hearts. I'm going to raise it 125. Should be enough to get everyone to fold. If they don't fold, that tells me that they're either drawing or they have a weak pair. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Got a call. So there is the straight. I'm going to bet it one more time just to keep him from betting. Like at this point, he has to believe I have the king or I have the straight. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's it. Let's see what he got. Ace queen. That motherfucker. He was supposed to fold that. He didn't even have a straight draw. He was staying in the hand hoping to get a motherfucking ace. Some bullshit. Alright, so another Broadway hand. Not the best. I'm going to raise it 125, 150, go 125. And I'll be happy just to take down the 35 cents. Let's see if anybody folds. Number 4 is probably playing multiple games. That's why it's when it takes a person that long to respond, either they are preoccupied playing multiple games, or they're watching YouTube or porn or something crazy like that, and they're not even paying attention. That guy's not paying attention for sure. Number 5, he'll probably call just to be calling. Just to be calling. So I really have to get his hand up. That's my thinking. I'm just going to check because number 5, I guess I can take a stab at it. I could take a stab at it for 225. I'm just going to check because there's a straight draw and then there's a flush draw. And then there's also a king, which I don't have. So let's see if 5 or 6 bets it. If they don't bet, maybe I'll take a stab on the turn. And he bet it, so I'm just going to fold. Maybe he has a king. Let's see what this is. Number 6 just called. If he has anything, he would bet now, because number 5 checked it. So there it is. He must have the king, or he has a weak pair. Yeah, thank God I didn't try to take it down. Seven, 3. There's nothing I can do with that. Check. Hopefully everyone else just calls. I can see the flop. See if I can get 4, 5, 6. If I get 4, 5, 6, then I'm just gonna go buck wild. Other than that, I'm just gonna fold and just throw this away. Yep, time to throw it away. And you know, number 5 has not showed any hands. He hasn't showed not one hand. He's loose. He's loose. Be really interesting to see. Ooh, I would have had a straight draw. 6, 7, 8, 9. Be interesting to see what number 5 has. Ooh. 7, 10 or Jack 10. Damn, all he needed was a 10. All right. So, Ace Jack. Number 5 coming out the gate swinging. And I really want to be careful with number 5 because he's pretty loose. Doesn't really matter what I bet, he's going to call it, but I still have to try to get some of these people out of the hand. So I am going to go 125 to see if I can get rid of some people. It's a small raise, but maybe I can get rid of number 2 or number 8, but number 5 is going to call for sure. Let's see if I'm right. He's loose. He's gonna call. See what I tell you? Dare you! Dare you! Dare you! I hit it. Check. Should I check this shit? Should I check it? I want to get paid. You got to pay me. Now this can go wrong, so I don't want to get too cocky because this can still go bad. Someone can get a flush or they can get a straight. This can go bad. Let's see what happens. All right. A little bit more. And if nothing happens on the river, river. If there's no scare card on the river. Damn. Fuck, I should have checked that shit. Alright, so I have absolute trash, but I'm on a winning streak. Maybe, you know what? Honestly, my line of thinking is that I'm on a winning streak. Maybe I can try to intimidate them and try to bluff it with 310 with the button. I may still do that. The only person I'm really worried about calling is number 2. If anybody else calls, then they have a solid hand. I'm gonna bluff this for sure. If number two is the only person I'm worried about. So if number 9 calls it or number 3 calls it, to me that tells me that they have solid plain starting hands like Broadway, like King Queen, Jack Queen or something like that, Ace King. If they have a solid pair, they're going to re-raise. But if they just call, and they're going to fold. Let's see what number 9 does. If he's got a nonsense hand, yeah, perfect. All right, Jack is all right. I'm not even gonna. I've been betting too much, picking up too much attention. I'm just gonna go ahead and fold this. Get some of the heat. Let it cool off a little bit. Couldn't do anything anyway. Number 7 weighs. And I haven't really noticed number 7 play a lot of hands. Let's see how number 7 plays us out. Hopefully this goes to showdown and we can see what number 7 plays with. I'm ready to label number 7 as a tight player, number 7 and possibly number 8 as a tight player. Let's see. Number 5 is just super loose. He's played just about every hand. Now, me, myself, I would probably say that I'm a loose player, at least in this session. I played a lot of trash hands, but the one thing I've been trying to do is I've been trying to play in position. So even if I'm bluffing, then I still have position and I can still kind of work with that. But number 5, it just seems like he's playing any and everything. All in. Let's see what it is. Queen 4. Look at that. Look at that goofball. Queen 4. Loose. Playing garbage. He hit it 1 card and he goes all in. 6 deuce. I might try to bluff this. Try to bluff it. To me, it seems like I can get away with a lot of bluffs on this table. If I get past number 2, I think I'm good. Let's see. So I am going to label number 3 as tight. I'm going to label 7 as tight. What do I do here? I'm going to call. I'm going to label number 8 as tight. And if I'm wrong on any of these, then I can easily change it. But to me, it just seems like they haven't been playing a heck of a lot of hands. I could be wrong. Leave your questions and comments below if you've been watching this entire game and you notice that these players are playing opposite than what I've labeled them. But you know what? This is a bad move. I'm still going to call because it's only going to cost me 50 cents to call. I'm ahead. The bad thing about this is if number 2 gets a draw, he's going to go all in, but I'm just going to call. and it's a total miss. I'm going to check and fold. I would try to bluff this, but I don't want to risk it, because if either of them have a club in their hand, if they just simply have 8-10 or 6-10 in their hand, they're going to play it out, and of course one of them can have the king. Let's see. The person with the king is obviously like that. There it is. You have to have, well, I mean, it's tough to call that even if you have a king. I don't know why he called it, because it's tricky, because he could have a flush. We have 7, 8, 9. Jack 10 is a winner. Oh, he hit him hard. And this guy is tight. Lost your money, play. Oh! But we were right about number 3, because basically he had king, queen. He lost anyway, but we were right about him. He is pretty tight. We haven't seen him play too many hands. Now, Jack 10. I want to bluff this. I want to bluff, but you know what? I'm just going to simply call. And the reason I'm calling is because I'm pretty much out of position, and there's 3 people behind me. Even if I raise and they call and I don't hit, I'm going to have to bluff it. And a lot of times bluffing tends to lose you. I mean, there's nothing wrong with bluffing, but you have to choose when you bluff. And I don't want to have to be in a position where all I have is a bluff. It's okay to do that sometimes, but you don't want to rely on it. And in this situation, I'll be relying on it. But it turns out I hit the 10. Let's see if this 10 is any good. Anybody with king 10, ace 10, queen 10, there's a lot of hands that beat me here. So the best I could hope for is to maybe get a 9 and get a straight. But there's a flush draw, a straight draw. So this is tricky territory, and I'm up against 2 tight players. I'm going to bet again. This guy is tight. He'll let me know when he has nuts. When he has a nuts, he's going to pop it. You know what I mean? He's going to hammer it when he has nuts. But right now, it just feels like he's drawing. If he re-raises, he's basically telling me I got the nuts, and then I'll just fold. Alright, I would check here, but I'm just going to be consistent. I'm actually going to raise it a little bit more. If he has an ace, he's definitely calling. If he misses, he folds. He still may fold if he just has a 10. Damn, queen 10. Motherfucker! At least I lost. I was going to say I lost the minimum, but he pretty much got me. I could have bet less, but it feels like I did okay though. Again, folding queen 6. It feels like this is a nice time to stop. And I say this because I'm ahead. I started off with 25 bucks. Now I have 37 bucks. I've been playing for a while. It seems like this is a really good time to take a break. So I guess I'm just going to call it. Leave your questions and comments below. Let me know what you think about this session. Do you think this is a really good winning session?